Witches.
Witches.
I don't know, it's New Age anything. It's just so stupid to me. I haven't found a single New Age concept that was compelling upon simple logical analyses.
They don't stand up to questioning. Most beliefs don't. Especially when they're based on...
Yeah, if you're skeptical enough, none do.
Yeah. Shouldn't need to have beliefs. We can know things. We can know things if they're actually true. We can know them. We don't
Knowledge is more powerful than belief.
Yeah, we don't need to believe that the Earth is round. We know the Earth is round. We don't need to believe that objects of mass are attracted to each other. I can drop something and prove that.
Well, demonstrate.
Demonstrate it.
That's possibly true.
Yeah. It's within reason.
I mean, I think that it takes quite a bit of evidence to relieve the burden of proof from a claim.
Sure.
And in order to do that, yes, dropping something towards the Earth, yeah, that somewhat demonstrates it, but it doesn't prove it.
No, it demonstrates it.
Yeah.
It's evidence.
Mm-hmm.
It's empirical evidence that can be tested. You can drop a pen to Earth, too.
Yes. And I can measure it in the same fashion, and I can measure it in different fashions. I can be creative about how I analyze the process of something falling. And the idea being that as a group, we will come to knowledge if we are extremely critical of what we are seeing. If you use a lax standard of evidence where you say, I would like to speculate about how things are, what I'm seeing and perceiving, I would like to speculate it, and you don't bother bouncing it off critics,
well, what you do is
you end up with a self-confirming group.
Well, you teach your brain to think that way too. Your brain is more likely to react to normal situations with that kind of bias. With delusional bias.
I don't need bias. I mean,
no. Your brain will actually start confusing you and making you think you saw something else if you actually train it to think that way. Think about it. Like we were saying earlier, it's like if you do that, it's like almost like damaging your brain, right?
Well, if you repeatedly compound the same notion on yourself, you are self-imposing a bias, and yes, over time, that's going to convince you that, everything I see confirms my bias, and therefore I must be right. That's where the mistake is made, is where you conclude that you're correct because you've seen that, you've perceived the same thing that you've been influencing yourself to perceive. And people are able to do this in alarmingly numerous number of ways.
It's like when you're going to buy a car and you're looking at a specific type of car and then you start seeing it everywhere.
Sure, yeah. Like we're all susceptible to confirmation bias in our daily choice making. And if you go back and review some of the decisions you make in your life, you're bound to find examples in your own recent history of where you were convinced of finding something and you found it. It's not it's not something that's of oddity. It's natural.
Our brains are wired that way.
Yep.
We can't trust our brains, basically.
Well, we are vulnerable.
To a certain extent.
We are vulnerable to subjectivity.
Yep. And that's why we apply...
And even the most intelligent people are vulnerable to it.
Yeah.
The brightest people on Earth are all human, too.
And many of them hold delusions.
Well, it's human nature. So.
But I think the trick is being willing to revise that position.
Well, if you give a fuck about truth, then being 100% confident in anything is foolish. because it demonstrates that you're unwilling to change your position.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And these are the kind of people who call me a fool for not prescribing to that philosophy. Subscribing.
Yeah, it's silly. Well, and they get offended if you don't believe what they do, or if you question their beliefs.
Oh yeah, because we love how I'm out to bully everybody and tell them how to think. That's what
I'd like to help people if I think they're mistaken.
I think that people need to be less fucking sensitive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, your beliefs are not...
And be more welcoming to criticism, because that's the way you improve your brain, because if your ideas ain't working, baby, you better get rid of them, because they ain't working. So you need to figure out what works, not what makes you happy.
Oh, right, yeah. So happiness is not a way to truth.
Truth? No.
It's a way to pretend. And
well,
I don't know if going around pretending you know things you don't know is actually a healthy thing to do, even if it makes you feel good. Because it makes you susceptible to other things that could possibly be untrue because you don't view things critically. Whether you like it or not. It's like you could go around believing something, you know, I don't know with that.
You can believe whatever you want, doesn't make it true.
Exactly.
And the harder you believe it, true for you? It doesn't mean it's true for me. That doesn't
it doesn't
work.
make it real.
That doesn't
make
it.
That
doesn't
make it a fact.
Work. Because
no amount of belief.
It's an attempt to... It's a ascription of the value of truth to a concept. When you say, something is true for me because I believe it, it's attributing the value of truth in a mistaken way, because the truth of the claim has never been established, so simply it's a fail. I mean, don't know. I'm not so hasty with ascribing truth to things, because I don't know.
Yeah. If you don't know something, you're okay with saying, I don't know.
I try to be. Like I said earlier, I am a human.
Well, I value honesty. I value honesty.
I make
mistakes. What I mean? I want to be truthful and honest. I want to know that what I believe is true.
Right. And
I don't want to tell people or believe things that aren't true, because that doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that?
Well, I know I make mistakes, and
Everyone does.
when I make mistakes, I really hope somebody comes along and corrects them, so that I can fucking try not to make the mistake again, because I don't like making mistakes. I value truth over happiness. To me, that makes sense. I don't know why you would not do that. I don't have a good explanation. I can't reason my way into that. I can't reason my way into saying, oh, I'm just going to be happy. I get genuine happiness by being skeptical.
I've never been happier since I discarded my false or unjustified beliefs, because I didn't have to pretend I knew anything.
Right. Now it
was like a weight off my shoulders.
Yeah, everything I was talking about, I knew.
Yeah, I don't have to pretend.
I don't have to pretend anymore. It's great to be
free of that. Not have some weird burden of proof that you can't justify.
That you have to fucking rationalize.
Yeah, you do
endlessly
mental gymnastics until it makes sense to you.
Well, that works for making it true for you.
But it doesn't
work when you're trying to convince somebody who knows what the fuck they're talking about.
Well, it doesn't make it true at all. It makes it actually a delusion. Especially if you're unwilling to change your position. If you're 100% certain that magic is real, then you've got issues.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say if you're 99% certain that you believe magic is real, you've got some issues. It's like if you think that fucking wrestling is real, I'm sorry, it ain't. It's a fucking stage show.
Well, yeah.
I'm sorry.
This shit's not easy to do what they're doing. They're trained athletes. They're performers.
Yeah, they're performers. But
and a lot of it's done on the fly.
Fighting.
But they have signals for like what move they're gonna do. That's why they always tap their elbows
but
and stuff like that.
They're not fighting.
They'll tap their elbows or they'll slap their thigh, and that lets you know that they're gonna throw a punch at the other person. So then they don't really hit them.
Yes, but the drama.
Yeah.
Is fake as shit.
The neighbor's singing outside.
Is she?
Yeah, that's what's going on. And the rooster over here was crowing back at her.